Good afternoon, Dr. Blood. My name is Christina Rodriguez. I'm a mass communication student and an obvious member of your class. I took this class thinking I was just going to breeze through it and pass along and move on with my major, but I was very mistaken. Art is very complex and it has so many different details to it and so many parts. It involves a lot more than just drawing a guy on a piece of paper and moving along with it. It really does take a lot of research and a lot of strategy in order to create some pieces. Some of my favorite eras of art that we have gone through over the last few weeks has been the late Renaissance and modern art. The elaborate decoration in late Renaissance evolved into what is Mannerism. And Mannerism most nearly refers to the very exaggerated styles of art at the time. My favorite artist at that time would have been Giuseppe Arcimboldo. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. His pieces consisted of pictures of greenery, fruits, vegetables, legumes, all kinds of things that form to create people, places, things, animals. And it was really interesting to look at because there's so much detail that goes into making one specific thing, like a carrot. But the carrots that he used turned into a man sitting in a chair, and it was just really amazing how far the detail can really take you. The piece that you just saw was called Spring by Giuseppe and was made in about 1573. So a few facts about Giuseppe himself. He was born in 1526 or around that time. He did come from a family of artists. His father was an artist and he was from Italy, mostly around the Prague area. He had lots of artwork and he mainly directed his art towards like religious features. He loved the apostles, the saints, and he was trying to voice his more religious side through his artwork. From a distance, if you look at his art, it looks normal and it looks like any other piece of art that you'd see any other artist do. But the closer that you get to it, like I had stated before, you do see that the detail is made through other things like food. The piece that you just recently saw, the nose was made of squash. He had lettuce for shoulders. It was all kinds of craziness going on in the picture. But it really all works so well together to make such a beautiful piece of art. And that was actually one of my favorites that we did learn about this semester, or this mini-mester. And today, his art hangs in lots of museums and galleries. He pretty obviously is not alive anymore. He was from the 1500s. But his art is really well sold and is worth lots of money now because of how intricate and complex and beautiful it is. So the next era that we'll speak about is the modern art age. And when I had started this class, when I hear modern art, what I think of is what art would be today in modern time. Basically, I think of the quote-unquote weird art now, like a cheese grater in a white room and calling that art, or abstract, things that you don't typically understand when you see it. But again, very misunderstood. I was very wrong. Modern art dates back to the 19th and 20th century. Some of the main artists of that time were Claude Monet and one of my personal favorites, Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh actually painted probably my very favorite piece ever, Starry Night. I have socks that are Starry Night, and I absolutely love that piece. It is so calming to look at. It almost moves when you look at it as well. It's just absolutely beautiful to me, and I'm actually going to show that in the next scene. So with art, there are 7 elements. There's line, shape, value, form, texture, color, and space. So I'm going to elaborate mostly on the Starry Night photo that we just saw. So with lines, you can see that he did the curved brush strokes and the entire painting is made in a swirl to keep movement going on in the picture. The space, every last single inch of that painting was supposed to be an open sky with stars, and it's just very open, but it seems so busy because of the line work that he had done. He kept his colors pretty dreary, dark blues, black. He did have that pop of yellow from the moon and the stars, which really draws your eye and the attention along the picture. The texture, again, is very curved and swirly and rough and very textured. There's lots of different points and elements in this art piece that really distinguish what makes it so unique and different. For the principles of art, there's rhythm, space, proportion, emphasis, movement, contrast, unity, harmony, and it all really makes a big difference when creating art. If you have rhythm and harmony in your artwork, everything seems to flow together very nicely. For proportions, you tend to keep things a little bit even so that it's not heavy on one side. Your eye doesn't only get drawn to that one piece. For movement, with lots of movement in art, it keeps your eye going around the page or the canvas or whatever it may be, and allows you to really capture what is going on freely in that moment. Fine art and visual art truly have made such an impact on the world today. And it's so aesthetically pleasing and so beautiful to look at and really create such a storyline for anybody to understand. Everybody takes art a different way depending on how you've lived your life or what your goals and aspirations can be, and hopefully in the near future we will see lots of techniques and elements and principles that we've learned about in this mini-master and take that with us and create art.